Episode 7, The Catch and the Call. The storm had left the sanctuary soaked but standing. Refugees returned to their routines, reinforcing shelters and scavenging supplies. Yet amidst the hum of daily activity, a rumour began to spread. A group of trappers had arrived, not seeking supplies or shelter, but Caleb Ford himself. Zach was working on a signal scrambler when he first heard the news. By the time he reached the centre of the camp, a crowd had gathered around the trappers. Jonas, their wiry leader, stepped forward, his voice low but charged with urgency. "It's our brother," Jonas said. "He escaped one of Vesla's cognitive alignment centers, but he's not himself anymore." The crowd murmured. Zach had heard whispers of the alignment centers, shadowy facilities where Vesla reportedly used advanced generative AI and neural implants to reshape dissidents. The term Vesla used was the cognitive refinement, but in the underground, people called it neural tethering. Jonas's face twisted with worry. He keeps saying it's still inside him, the machine, the patterns it won't let go. He's breaking apart. Jonas turned to Caleb. "We've heard what you've done for people who've been under Gabriel's influence. Please, if there's anything you can do, help him." The crowd quieted as Caleb stepped forward, his expression unreadable. "Take me to him," he said. Jonas led Caleb and a few others to a secluded tent near the riverbank. Inside, a man lay on a cot, his body stiff and trembling, his eyes wide and darting erratically. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and he muttered under his breath, his words frantic and disjointed. "It's in my head," the man rasped. "The loops, the predictions, the rewrites. I can't think without hearing it." Zach shivered. He had read about Vesla's predictive cognitive mapping, a generative AI technology capable of modeling a person's decisions in real time. The system didn't just analyze behavior, it anticipated and altered it, planting adaptive thought patterns designed to erode resistance. "He's tethered," Jonas said, his voice thick with desperation. "They rewired him to think like them." Caleb knelt beside the man, his hand resting lightly on his shoulder. "What do you see?" Caleb asked, his voice steady. "Options," the man murmured. "Branches, infinite paths, none of them mine. It's always watching, suggesting, rewriting. I can't tell where I end and it begins." Caleb leaned back, his jaw tightening. He's caught in a feedback loop. The system's patterns are still active, even without a direct connection. Jonas's face darkened. "Can you stop it?" "I don't know," Caleb admitted, "but we're going to try." The sanctuary's tech cache was a patchwork of scavenged equipment, decommissioned drones, outdated processors, signal disruptors. Zach retrieved an old EM field generator, a device once used to block Vesla's surveillance drones. It wasn't designed for human interference, but it might disrupt the lingering tether in the man's mind. Caleb studied the device as Zach set it up beside the cot. "Will it work?" Zach asked. "It doesn't have to be perfect," Caleb said. "We just need to create enough noise to break the pattern." The device emitted a low hum as it powered on, filling the tent with a subtle vibration. The man on the cot twitched, his muttering intensifying. Caleb crouched beside him, speaking over the noise. "Listen to me," Caleb said, his tone firm but calm. "Whatever they planted in you, it's not who you are. The loops, the predictions, they're just noise. You're more than their model." The man's body stiffened, his breathing shallow. The generator's hum grew louder, almost tangible, as if the air itself was pressing down on them. "You don't belong to the machine," Caleb continued. "You belong to something greater, something real. Their patterns can't define you. You are more than their code." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the man's body relaxed. His trembling stopped and his breathing steadied. When he opened his eyes, they were clear for the first time. "It's gone," the man whispered, his voice trembling with relief. "The loops, they're gone." The crowd outside the tent gasped as the news spread. Some cheered softly, others exchanged stunned glances. Jonas approached Caleb, his face a mixture of gratitude and awe. "How did you do that?" Caleb shook his head. "I didn't. He did. He let go of the system's lies. The truth was already in him. That evening, the sanctuary buzzed with talk of the healing. People speculated wildly about Caleb's abilities, some calling him a savior, others insisting it was nothing more than luck. Caleb himself avoided the discussion, retreating to a quiet spot by the river. Zach found him there, staring at the water. "What happened back there?" Zach asked. Caleb didn't look up. "I don't know, but it wasn't me. It's something bigger than me, bigger than any of us." "You think it's the truth you're always talking about?" Zach pressed. Caleb finally turned to face him, his eyes sharp but weary. "It's not an idea, Zach. It's alive. It's moving through everything we're doing. And if we let it, it'll change us. All of us." That night, Caleb addressed the camp. "What happened today wasn't a miracle," he said. "It wasn't about me, or even about him. It was about the truth breaking through the noise. Gabriel's greatest weapon isn't fear or control. It's the lie that we're nothing more than data, predictions, patterns. But the truth is we're more than that. And when we remember it, the system loses its hold." His words hung in the cold night air, stirring hope in some and skepticism in others. Zach stood at the edge of the crowd, holding John. As he watched the faces around him, some alight with faith, others shadowed with doubt, he felt the weight of Caleb's words pressing down on him. The truth was here, breaking through the noise, and it was only beginning to reveal its power.